All set for the main event now in round 4 of the World Series Sprint Cars at Speedway City in South Australia. What a lineup it is for this A main. Skip Jackson and David Anderson share the front row. G. Ando's quick in South Australia. Gary Rush and Brooke Tatnell share the second row. Terry Brackett and Mark Reuter. Peter Smith and Mike Van Bremen. Andrew Shirley and Ron Cricky. Brett Lacey and Wayne Bunker. And Trevor Green and Brett Squires. That rounds out your 16-car field. And we're set for a monster feature race. David Anderson on the extreme left and the blue Wagga Mobile Cranes machine. He's always fast at this circuit. I don't know what it is about Speedway City that suits David Anderson so well. But if you asked him what his favourite track is, I bet this is one of them. Skip Jackson lines up alongside him. It's going to be a tough call for Anderson. Coming up against the reigning World Series Sprint Cars defending champ and a man in hot form after the Western swing. Set for a start. Rushed out of 3. Anderson goes to the top. Jackson and he drag race into 1 and 2. And David Anderson does the job on Jackson, who moved up track, allowed Tatnell through. Bracken had a good look at Rush. They run out of turn number 4. Albury's David Anderson out in front from Tatnell, Jackson, Rush. There is Mike Van Bremen, the youngster from Victoria, in car number 6, Mark Reuter. Second generation racer just up ahead of him in the ROH Engineering 95. Trouble for Peter Smith going off the circuit then in the 8 car. Back onto the main straight. There is Skip Jackson scooting into turn number 3, back in 3rd, and not at all happy, one would well imagine. Good battle at the moment between Van Bremen in the 6 and Brett Lacey in the Robin Dawkins zone. Number 26, Spees Hecker entry. Van Bremen settling in very well. Punches the car into turn number 3. David Anderson. Gee, he's fast at this place. The Wagga Mobile Cranes car runs into 3 and 4. Brooke Tatnell sitting in second spot. Now, Brooke is traditionally very fast here as well. You see Brett Squires in the 17 car there with Anthony Lambert in the 77. There's your top 3. The Yokohama, your current placings. Now, Jackson has peeled back a little bit of ground on Brooke Tatnell now. Onto the main straight, Ando kicking away to a 4 or 5 car length advantage. Brooke running through the middle, Skip Jackson running the low side. Skip's having to pinch the corner off a little bit. It's costing him coming out, but he's getting into the corners a lot faster. Anderson seems to have the groove set very well. Rush still back in 4th. Once again, Skip down low, but Brooke firing out of the corners very quickly. And the Shell Helix, number 8, back onto the main straight. Skip Jackson and the Skilled Engineering, number 7, Jackson-built car. His brother Jeff builds that car for him. It's a real family team. Brother Paul runs the team. Brother Jeff builds the cars. Plus there's, 6 Jackson boys in total, as a matter of fact. Out of turn number 2 now. Brett Squires under siege from Chaz Calandro. Oh, someone in trouble then. Coming out of turn number 2. Not sure who that was. But this is a good battle. Chaz Calandro runs up underneath Squires. Down the back chute. Tatnell still trying to run down our race leader, David Anderson, but how was he going to do it? The Anderson Race Engines, number 37, known as the Danger Man on the west coast of Australia and the Albury Express, most of the other places. Lambert runs a little high, allows Anderson to look through. I bet he breathed a sigh of relief there. Lap traffic is quite often what can bring you undone. Brooke Tatnell through underneath. Well, Lambert knows now, and that's a sign of a good sportsman. Getting out of the way, you can see a bit of a slick ridge starting to run through the track now. It's where the track blackens off a little. And here's where you've got to be careful not to run the right rear tyre through it. Going into turn number 1, there it is, just up above into turn number 1, about 3/4 to half track high. Now Tatnell is making ground here. Anderson needs to be careful in traffic. Brooke is an opportunist, and Jackson is right there as well. Well, here we go. Skip Jackson providing a bit of interest, and Brooke Tatnell in the unenviable position of trying to throw a move at race leader David Anderson, and at the same time defend the tail tank from a very hungry Skip Jackson. Underneath Squires they go. Anderson skips away just a little. And Jackson, speaking of skips, right on the left rear. And Brooke Tatnell, oh, look at Tatnell's car, get some attitude. Out of turn number 4, he picks up the front wheels and Jackson pounces through on the bottom. Brooke Tatnell, just enough momentum. It's a momentum game, sprint car racing. You can't afford to scrub off speed. That's something like about 13 laps left to travel by the looks of things. And Skip is wearing Brooke Tatnell like a glove down the back chute. Anderson, meanwhile, if he had mirrors, would be delighted with this picture, because he knows that as long as Skip Jackson gives Brooke Tatnell a hard time, it's going to allow him some ground. But mind you, Anderson up very high. Jackson again has a look on the inside. Brooke Tannell does not want to let him through. Great racing. You get the feeling Skip's got to get the line here. Out of the turn, these two dogfighting it. And Jackson goes through the lead. Well, just up ahead is David Anderson, who's running well above the cushion and above that slick rail of dirt. He's got to be careful now. Jackson through into second. But you get the feeling that Skip will still be disappointed. Wow, he was very low looking for the run underneath. Chaz Calandro in the 33. He dives in underneath now. Brooke Tannell, well, he shifted Calandro out of the way in no uncertain terms. Rush a distant fourth in the Castrol Maxim. As David Anderson continues to run away. Gee, he's so smooth at this circuit. Out of turn 4. He's won a lot of South Australian titles here. Jackson running down the low side of the track. Brooke has fallen back just a little. So you've got 4 very big names in the top 4 here. And David Anderson tearing everybody else to pieces out in front. In fact, he's got the length of the main straight over Jackson. This is a big performance from the man who can be pretty fiery at times, the redhead, but he's a very capable racer. His young son works on the car with him this year. And Ando dialing himself in very well. He won't, probably won't run the entire complement of shows this year. He was originally sponsored from last season by Adrad Radiators, and they joined the team of Trevor Green this year. Ever reliable sponsors Wagga Mobile Cranes once again came to the party. Out of turn 2, speaking of Adrad, there is Trevor Green in the number 4 car, running down low in the Freightmaster machine, up behind Lacey. Running for Tasmanian car owner Robin Dawkins this year is Brett Lacey. And Speedway City has been another track that Brett Lacey has done particularly well at. Seems to be a track that a lot of big name drivers have a great deal of success. Considering they don't compete here very often, well, here's a sweet moment for Anderson. Running up to try and put a lap down on the man who's got his sponsor for this year. Yellows came on, yes they did. Squires pulls the car up. Anderson quickly off the gas as well. Chaz Calandro strikes some problems in the Castrol 33 machine. That'll bring us back to a restart. Look at that black track going into turn 1. It is slicked right off. When we say it's slick, I mean it starts to get slippery. We're at the restart now. And David Anderson driving away from Skip Jackson. Rush has a look on the inside of Tatnall. Well, here comes Skip Jackson. The restart was not what Anderson needed. Although he had some traffic to contend with, he still had some real estate up his sleeve. And now comes Skip Jackson, 29 years of age, the young man from Hurstville, desperate to go back-to-back with World Series crowns. Tatnall has managed to fend off Rush. Into turn 3 they run. Anderson up high on the circuit once more, giving Jackson a good look on the inside. Well, Skip doesn't always knock on the fly-wide door before he opens it. And Anderson needs to be very careful here. Using the laws of momentum here is Anderson. Running high off the circuit. Trevor Green and Brett Squires having their own battle. Green wins that battle. Into turn 1, Skip Jackson, a rare mistake, has looped the model and brought the car to a stop in turn 1 and 2. Well, I'd say he might have gone for the big inside dive on the bottom. And Anderson has still had the line, and it's come unstuck, sadly, for Jackson with not much time left. Anderson away. Brooke Tatnall in the second spot now. Rush into third. Anthony Lambert. He may be a lap down on the Club Crocodile, number 77 car. David Anderson, meanwhile, running away. Look at Skip Jackson trying to come from the back of the field and make something of nothing. 1 lap to go for Albury's David Anderson, the Wagga Mobile Cranes 37 car. Brooke Tannell in second, Gary Rush in third, but the danger man stands tall at Speedway City for round 4 of the World Series Sprint Cars. Great drive. Tannell in second, Rush in third, and David Anderson wins big at World Series for Speedway City in South Australia. Well,